Okay? Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai. So, long time, no class. This is now, I think, let me see, which chapter now? This is the 9th chapter. This is, you remember which offense? Number? Offense number? No. Yeah, number 6 now. Yeah, it's been a long time, so that's why. Okay. So, first was Sadhaninda, second is, what is? Quick review. Huh?
I can't remember that name.
Yeah, no, just like...
Considering like they were just
yes.
same level or separate from Krishna.
Yes. Okay, and then you consider that the demigods equal or independent, right? From God. And then, third one? Guru Avagya. Fourth? Yeah, the fourth is yeah. What is it? Now I'm getting ready, offering. You remember?
It's like on my tip of my tongue.
Huh? Which one? And the fourth is what?
Glories of the holy name?
No, that's the Shruti, the scriptures. Criticism to the Shastra. Shruti Shastra Ninda. And the fifth one is Artavad, like taking the glories of the name as imaginary. Remember the lesson? So now, chapter 9. This is the 6th offense. 6th offense is sinning on the strength of the holy name. Sinning on the strength of the holy name. On the strength of chanting the holy name. So, yeah, that's a common thing to remember. No need to remember the Sanskrit. Otherwise, if you want, then it's called Nam, Nam, name. Bal means power, nama-bala-papa-buddhi. Pap means sin, and buddhi means mentality. To have the, yeah, so okay, so in this chapter, Slahardas Thakur, he was explaining to Mahaprabhu. Now he said, I'm going to explain the 6th offense. He started by saying that the holy name is made up of Shuddha Sattva. Remember the term Shuddha Sattva? In the first chapter we were discussing this also. Sattva means existence, and Shuddha means like pure. Everything in this world is not pure existence. They're in the mixed qualities. There's the 3 guns, you know that? What are they? Tamas, Raja and Sattva. That Sattva, so-called Sattva, that is when they translate into goodness, like in English, goodness. That is mixed, not pure. So, the qualities of ignorance, that's like it leads to destruction. Mode of passion leads to like creation, and goodness, maintenance. So he said the holy name is completely like pure existence, Shuddha Sattva, meaning transcendental, nirgun. And so he said that fortunate jivas, jivas become very fortunate if they take shelter of the holy name. So, and he is telling why because their anarthas will become purified, and then their weakness of heart will all be gone. And meaning their life will be pure. Actually, he said they will be pure and they will be wise. So then he further explains that people are suffering because of sins, really. Because of sins. And when we talk about sins, the process of sins he said it goes in 3 levels. Like the sin itself, that's when you're already acting the particular activity, right? But before that, there is the seed. So the seed is actually the desire, sinful desire. So sin comes from the sinful desire. And the sinful desire actually comes from the root of sin. And he said the root of sin is ignorance. So he said there's 3 things. So there is there's the pap. Pap is the sin. Then there's the pap bij. Pap bij means the seed. And then there's what is ignorance? How do you call it? Avidya. Avidya, that is the root of this sin. Okay? These 3 things, he said, this is the source of all suffering in this world. That's what Haridas was telling. And so he said, but those fortunate souls who take shelter of the holy name, they completely remove all these 3 things. From the avidya to the sin. Understand? So he said, he actually clarified, when you say, take shelter of the holy name, take shelter of the holy name, that means, actually he surrendered to the name. Okay, not those 6 activities of surrender? Sharanagati, surrender, no? He said before even coming to the stage of bhakti, there's the doorway. Sharanagati, like that, surrender. So by surrender, then you can enter to the realm of bhakti. And of course, when you enter in the realm of bhakti, that surrender, those symptoms of surrender will always be there. You will see. But that surrender, that is your entrance to, it's like the stepping stone to bhakti. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he describes 6 symptoms. Anukulyasya sankalpa. Sankalpa means vow. You make a vow that what is anukul, what is favorable, I will do. Right? And pratikulya varjanam. Patikulyasya varjanam. Varjanam meaning reject. You reject what is unfavorable. So there's just 2 things. You accept only favorable and reject unfavorable. Okay. Then rakshishati viswasu. Viswas means faith, belief. That Krishna is my protector. Like this. Krishna is my protector. So I have nothing to fear. Krishna will protect me. Yes, this is one symptom of surrender. And then Goptritvi Varanam. Varanam actually meaning you are fully embracing that he is your maintainer. You embracing Varanam, that's what the term they use for marriage. When the wife surrender herself to the husband, he accepts the husband as pati, my maintainer, like this. You understand? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explained that this anga of surrender, this particular activity, Goptriti Varanam, accepting God as a maintainer, that is the root anga of the main limb of surrender. From this, if you have this, if you accept that, if you dedicate yourself, like God will be my maintainer now, then automatically the rest will come. You'll be able to reject unfavorable. You will you will accept only what is favorable, because now you understand, like, God is maintaining me, like this. And if you have that conviction, God is maintaining me, then you don't fear, because He will protect you, like that. It will come. So that is the main anga. Then go to the Varantata. Then Atmanic shape, Karpanye. Atmanic shape, that means now you're dedicating your whole, like, Atma. No more this feeling that I, me, mine. Like, if you're surrendered, then you don't have this mood that, like, me, like I, like my body, like that. Usually, like, I am my body, like that, and I am the enjoyer. So no more that. Like, totally now you are understanding that I am servant, like this. I've dedicated my life, and Karpanye, meaning meek and humble. You become Trinada Pisunich, like this, like very humble. Like Mahaprabhu is telling, lower than the straw in the street. Trinada Pisunichina, Tarora Pisesana, like this. So he said. So when Haridas was telling that these fortunate souls, they take shelter of the holy name, that's what it means. Now they only their whole activity is only dedicated to chanting, accepting God is their only protector. Like what is favorable, they accept. Unfavorable, they don't. And then they're very humble, like this. For these people, then very easy. Like all their anarthas and this impurities in the consciousness going away, the weakness of the heart going away, like this. And Haridas is saying, he will become very pure and wise, like this. So now, Haridas is saying that from that point of his life before being sinful to a pure life, meaning to sinless life, in between that, like the transition period, he said, like, it can come like in a few days, he's saying. And in that time, he said, some pap ganda means smell, some odor, some lingering smell. Now you're chanting, although it's not Shuddhanam. He said that from the time now you're taking full shelter of the name, and before Shuddhanam comes, Shuddhanam meaning like pure chanting, and actual, now you have this realization of the name. Before the time comes, your chanting is namabhasa, right? So at that time, in between your sinful life and sinless life, there is still some lingering, smell. And it can come in the form of like memories of your past sinful activities, memories of that like so-called sense enjoyment, or some like sinful habits that is still there, like that. He said, so they can still be there, but because of your contact with namabhasa, and now you're taking shelter of like name, it says that actually makes you become like strong to not like follow the desire, not to look at this smell, like you become strong. And like very soon, like you're not affected. Actually, you're not affected. That's what he's telling. You understand? So, he said that in the process of also, Krishna, he promised to Arjuna. Like Krishna, he promised that my devotee will never perish. It's like, don't fear, like that. So because like those who take shelter of me, I myself will protect, like that. So that's actually, this is Krishna's mercy. By Krishna's mercy, then like everything becomes very easy for the devotee, like this. And by his name, very easy. Now, Haras is telling like the Jnanis, for example, they engage some austerities, penance, and by that they can become purified. But they easily fall down still. Why? Because they're like relying on their own like strength. And like you see, without like surrender to Krishna, without mercy to Krishna, then really like that is really like not very secure. So the bhakta becomes very easy, but for like jnanis or karmis, then they can endeavor like so much, and some purification may be there, but they always like fall down, because like even whatever the activity is doing without actual relation with God, or like taking shelter of God, then their activity becomes like it's like only like a external, like a band-aid like solution, like that. So he's saying that when someone commits sin, usually to remove sin, they do atonement. This atonement? Like prayaschita. Like some, like in some religious like groups, they go to confess to like priests and like that. And then they said like, okay, you'll be forgiven. You pray these particular prayers like this. Some they do like really like austere like ways, like they go beat themselves. You've seen those like like they like that. I know like in my country they got they have this festival where they commemorate or remember the like when Jesus was tortured, like carrying cross. So you got all these people also like, oh, I'll be purified. So they also like carry cross and like that. And then they also get beaten. But it's so funny because and they actually put nails, really. And then after that, and the nighttime after, then they go drinking. Like this. It's like so, but that's what they think. Like okay, and for in karma also it works. Like by doing some prayaschita, some sins can be like removed like that. There's some process also like that in karma. But Haridas Thakur now is warning. He's telling like, for the devotee who's taking shelter of the name. Now, before the time when Shuddhanam comes, sometimes he commits mistake. It could be accidental or by some weakness. Like he make mistake. He commits some sin. But that one, he said, like that doesn't even need prayaschita. Like name will, Krishna will help him and he will recover and like easily, like because those are effects from like the smell, like the smell of his sinful activities before, and very soon it will be going away. But if you have this cheating like mentality, where it's like, you're committing sin not because it's like accidental or unpremeditated. This time you're actually thinking like, name will purify, so it's okay. I will do like this, and then I will just chant, no problem, like this. So he said that one is an offense. This is an offense to Nam. So that is like the 6th offense. And he's telling that this kind of offense, he said, no amount of prayaschita can even take this away. Even if Yamaraj will bring you to hell and make you suffer for like how long, he said that is not enough to get rid of this like offense. Actually, he said just to think, even to think about like this, like no problem, I will do like this. That is punishable already. That is committing this offense. How much more actually doing? He's telling like that. So this is like a very serious offense. And why? Because you have this mentality like, oh, I will cheat, He's like a cheater. And actually Haridas, he's telling that those who have he said like those who have Mahaprabhu calls them markat by those who have markat vairagya, like monkey renunciation, like this. Like usually they're the ones who are committing this kind of offense, like monkeys. They try to enjoy like, oh, I'm devotee, I'm devotee. It's like, oh, I'm renounced, but they live like more than householders, like that. Understand? Oh, they're engaging, like enjoying their senses like so much, like monkeys. But then they pretend like, oh, I'm sadhu, like that. So they have this cheating mentality. So those cheating mentality, they're like this. Like I'm a sannyasi, I'm a monk, but they're monkeys actually like this. And he is telling that it doesn't even really matter whether you're a sannyasi or householder. What matters is like you're taking full shelter of the name and not having this kind of mentality, like cheating mentality. And he said, okay, if grihastha life is favorable, then like no need to renounce. Live as a grihastha, like sincerely, like this, and like very honestly, like this, and doing bhakti. But if your grihastha life is unfavorable, then renounce, take sannyas, then like this, instead of like that. So,
and if a person is like doing this offense, then is he moving up or downwards? How it is like?
No, when you're committing this offense, what happens when you're committing namaparadha, then you're actually like far away,
Yeah.
Like you how you can progress? You can still be chanting,
Yeah.
but you're only going like and especially doing like these things, then, and this is what's happening to many people. Sometimes they say like, oh, I'm chanting for so many years, and like nothing's happening to me. Yeah. And then you have to look, what are you doing with your life, like this. So this, now Haridas, he actually gives a warning. He said, now you have to look, especially now you have to understand, when you are not yet chanting Shuddhanam, you have not full realization of like pure name yet. That time you have to be very vigilant. You have to be very careful. Like very, when you say vigilant, meaning, like that, like always like protective and careful. So he said that because when you have fully taken shelter of the name and Shuddhanam comes, he is telling that you cannot commit this namaparadha. Like not just this namaparadha, this number 6, but the whole, like all the 10 aparads. You can never do. But before that time, then you have to be very careful, and especially coming to this kind of mentality, like, oh, it's okay, like this. So you have to be careful. Now sometimes it comes as weakness of the heart. Like it's not sitting on the strength of the name. Like, okay, you keep again and again like committing the same mistake and committing that sin, but it's not like you actually purposely like doing. It's only because you have this weakness of the heart, like this. Gradually it will be gone, but later on, if you become so like, it's okay, and like that, then that weakness of the heart will become like this. It becomes a namaparadha, sinning on the strength of the name. Understand? So Haridas is said like, you have to be very careful. Like never try to have that kind of mentality. And so he said, so what to do? Like when you have this kind of mentality, and what to do so you will not be able to have this kind of like offense. So he's saying like, that all these offenses, they're like highway robbers. You have your direction, you have your goal, and you are traveling. And this offense, they can come and like attack you and like totally, like bring you away, or you cannot anymore travel like that. So he said, but you can call on the guardians, or the police, like the army. And he said, like the devotees, they are like the highway police, like that. So he said, like, just by calling their name, all these like highway robbers, they run away. Okay. So he's telling like for the devotee, especially they have not reached that stage of like Shuddhanam, and they're just in a stage yet of namabhasa. They have to be vigilant. He said, very important to have good association. Associate with devotees who like they're chanting Shuddhanam, like that. And then he said, like, stay with the devotees. Always stay with the devotees. Let me see what's. He said, go before an assembly of pure Vaishnavas. So that's what he's saying. You have to have association with pure Vaishnavas. And in this way, that propensity to sin, they will like go away. Yeah, because staying with the Vaishnavas and just even like calling their name, then this propensity to sin will go. So that's why sadhusanga, very important. Okay? So this is the sixth offense. Question? So next seventh offense. Okay, to instruct faithless people of the holy name. This is interesting. To instruct faithless people, glories of the name. And mostly this is misunderstood, this particular like namaparadha. So it's very good we discuss tomorrow maybe, or anytime. Why not? Okay, Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Shri Harinama Cintamani ki Jai, Jai Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki Jai, Jai Go Premanande.
Seriousness.